Now I'm going to work out your practice problems. I'm going to set each of them up, and so that way you can see how each of them were worked out. So number 1, x minus 14 plus 3x is equal to 14. Okay, so the first thing we got to do is we got to combine like terms. So right away I see that I can combine the 3x on this side and the 1x over here. There's nothing in front of the x, so that makes it's a 1x. There's 1x plus 3 more x's. So that's a total of 4 x's. So I have 4x minus 14 is equal to 14. Okay, I like to draw my balance beam because that's how y'all learned it in 6th and 7th grade. Most of you already know that it's Krennic right now making the video. All right, so now I have 4x minus 14 is equal to 14. And so we have to get rid of what's next to the variable. So we're going to get rid of on this side the negative 14. So the opposite of a negative 14 is positive 14. So I'm going to add 14 to both sides. This is zeroed out. So we have 4x is left is equal to 28. So then we have to get rid of the 4. So it says 4 times x, and so the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 4, because 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 1 times x is your x. So we have x equals 28 divided by 4, and 28 divided by 4 is equal to 7. So problem number 1, you should have gotten the answer of 7. X equals 7. All right, problem number 2. It says 4x minus 3x plus 6 is equal to 13. Okay, so we have 4x, take away 3x, plus 6 is equal to 13. So I'm going to start off by combining like terms. So I see 4x minus 3x's. So if I have 4x's and I take away 3x's, I only am left with 1x. So I have x plus 6 is equal to 13. I like to draw my balance beam so I know whatever I do on one side I have to do on the other. So I have to get rid of whatever's next to the variable. And so next to the variable is plus 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. This goes away, so you're left with x equals 7, because 13 take away 6 is 7. So problem number 2, your answer was x equals to 7. Okay, number 3, 8 equals 4x minus 8 plus 4. Okay, so I'm going to write it here, number 3. 8 equals 4x minus 8 plus 4. So again, first thing is combine like terms. So I see on this side I have a negative 8 plus a positive 4. So I have negative 8 plus 4. So negative 8 plus 4, since they're opposite signs, remember your integer rules, y'all have calculators in 8th grade. So you can just type it into the calculator, negative 8 plus positive 4, you're going to get negative 4. So now we have 8 equals 4x minus 4. Okay, I like to draw my line. So again, I need to get rid of everything that's next to the variable. So I've got to get rid of the negative 4, which yes, it's on the opposite side that we usually don't. We usually work on the opposite side. So don't worry, it could be either side, is wherever the variable's at, that's the side you have to get rid of everything to isolate the variable. All right, so the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4. So I have 8 plus 4 is 12 equals 4x. So I have to get rid of the 4. It's saying 4 times x, so the opposite of 4 times x is to divide by 4. So I'm going to divide by 4 on both sides. 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we're left with x equals 3. And you can write it as x equals 3. Either way. Okay, number 4, 12 plus 5x minus 8x is equal to 3. So we have 12 plus 5x minus 8x is equal to negative 3. Okay, first step, combine like terms. So I see that these two both have on the same side and they both have x's, so I'm going to combine those. I have 5x take away 8x. So 5 minus 8 is a negative 3. So I'm going to rewrite 12 plus negative 3x, or I can just write it as 12 minus 3x, either way, equals negative 3. I'm going to draw my line going down, and I'm going to have to get rid of everything that's on the side with the variable. So the first thing I got to get rid of is this 12. So the opposite of 12 is negative 12. So I put negative 12 on both sides. This cancels. So I'm left with negative 3x is equal to, and we have negative 3 plus a negative 12. So negative 3 plus a negative 12, since they're both the same signs, you're going to add them, and you get a negative 15. Okay, so now we need to get rid of the negative 3. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3, because the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so that's why 1 times x is x, so you're left with just x. And negative 15 divided by a negative 3 is going to be a positive 5. So you get the answer of x equals 5. Okay, number 5, 6x minus 5 plus 7x equals 34. Six x minus 5 plus 7x equals 34. Okay, first thing, we're going to combine like terms. So I see here that I have a 6x and a positive 7x. So 6 plus 7 is 13, so I have 13x minus 5 is equal to 34. Draw my balance beam. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. On this one, I see that I need to get rid of everything next to my variable to isolate my variables, so I have a negative 5 here. So the opposite of a negative 5 or a minus 5 is plus 5. So I'm going to add 5 on both sides. This is gone. I'm left with 13x is equal to 39. I've got to get rid of the 13. It's multiplication between 13 and x, 13 times x. So to get rid of that, I'm going to divide both sides by 13. 13 divided by 13 is 1. 1 times x is x. 39 divided by 13 is going to give you the answer of 3. So x is equal to 3. Last one, number 6. Negative 16 is equal to negative 3x plus 21 minus 25. Okay, so the first thing we gotta do is combine like terms on the same side. So right here I can see 21 minus 25, those are like terms. So I'm gonna write negative 16 is equal to negative 3x, and I'm gonna solve that. What's 21 minus 25? So you should get the answer of negative 4, because you have to subtract them because they're opposite signs. Okay, so now we go ahead and solve it. I've got to get rid of everything next to the variable. I have to isolate the variable, so I've got to get rid of the negative 4 first. So I'm going to add 4 because that's the opposite of it. This cancels, so on this side I'm left with negative 3x equals, and I have a negative 16 plus a positive 4. So of course if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get negative 12. If you just do the rules, then you know that you have to subtract them because they're opposite signs. Okay, so now to get rid of the negative 3 that's next to the variable, I have to divide them on both sides. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. And that's what we need because 1 times x is x, and that's what I need left over. And negative 12 divided by negative 3 is a positive 4. So your answer for that is x equals 4. You can also write it as x equals 4.